Alright, general construction requirements of transmission lines and mains. Scope. Section 255, 302 to 327 of the part describes the minimum quantity of construction transmission lines and mains. Notification requirements. At least 30 days prior to the start of the construction and reconstruction of any transmission line, main design is created with the operator's 125 psi gauge or more. Each operator shall file a letter of intent report specification identical with the Form A Appendix 7D, with the style of the letter of intent need not to be included in said specification when the length of the line is less than Class 1, Class 2, Class 3, and 4. Before any pipeline designed to operate at 125 psi or more is placed in the operation report shall be filed, certifying the maximum allowable operating pressure, allowing certifying line has been constructed, tested in accordance with the requirements of the rules here prescribed. The board shall also, with the results all required strength tests, no pipeline shall be operated pressure and extent excess to which it was certified. So you have Class 1 would be 1,000, Class 2 500, Class 3 250, Class 4 100 feet. Alright, compliance with construction standards. All construction work performed on piping except the accordance with the requirement of the part should be done under the construction standards, which shall be readily available. The inspection of the Department of Construction Standards should cover all phases of the work and shall be sufficient detail to cover the requirements of this part. Inspection in general. Each transmission line and main may be inspected during the construction to ensure that the construction in accordance with this part, but the inspection should be made sufficient frequent interval to ensure the required quality of workmanship. Inspection should be qualified, either experienced within training, they shall have the authority to order, repair, removal, replacement any of the component that has failed to meet the standards of this part. Operator shall maintain a current list of the designated inspectors. Inspection of materials. Each length of the pipe, each other of the component visually inspected the site of the installation should the sustain visually determine the damage of the could impair with the serviceability. These inspections must be made by the prior coating operation of the field coated pipe if the pipe is lowered into the ditch. Repair of steel pipe. Each imperfection, damage of the repair of the serviceability of the length of the steel pipe must be repaired or removed. If the repairs are made by the grinding of the remaining wall thickness must be at least equal or to either minimum thickness required with the tolerance specification of the pipe manufactured, nominal wall thickness required with the design pressure of the pipeline. Each of the following dents must be removed with the steel pipe with the operated with the pressure of 120 psi or more, unless the dent is repaired with a method of reliable engineering testing analysis should be permanently to restore the serviceability of the pipe. A dent that contains a stress concentrate of the scratch, gouge, groove, or arc burn that does affect the longitudinal weld of the circumferential weld. A dent that has a depth more than 1/4 inch into the pipe and 12 and 3/4 inch pipe less for the outside diameter. A depth that has depth on more than 2% of the nominal pipe diameter in the pipe of 12 and 3/4 outer diameter. For the purpose of the section of the dent is depression of the production of the produced for the gross disturbance of coverage for the pipe of the wall without reducing the pipe wall thickness of the depth of the dent with the dimension of the gap of the trim and the lowest point of the dent prolongation original contour of the pipe at each arc burn steel pipe is operated with the pressure of 125 psi must be repaired removed. If the repair is removed by grinding, the arc burn must be completely removed. Completely remove the metallurgic notch created by the arc burn can be determined by grinding away with visual evidence of the arc burn with a swabbing, grounding air with a 20% solution of ammonia per sulfate with a blackened spot with the evidence of the metallurgic notch that indicate that additional grinding is necessary. A gouge groove arc burn dent may be repaired inserting a patch or pounding it out. Each gouge, groove, arc burn, or dent that is removed with the length of the pipe must be removed with the cutting out of the damage of the portion as the cylinder. Notchless lamination pipe ends shall be repaired on pipe that operated with the pressure of the 125 psi gauge or more. Damaged portion shall be removed with the cylinder in the pipe and re-beveled. Repair on plastic pipe. Each imperfection damage that would impair the serviceability of the plastic pipe must be repaired or removed. Bends and elbows. Each field bend in steel pipe must comply with the following criteria. Each bend must impair the serviceability of the pipe. Each bend must smooth the contour of the be free of the bucking and the cracks of the mechanical damage. On pipe containing longitudinal weld with the longitudinal weld layered near the practical the neutral axis of the bending and left of the bending is made with internal bending and material. Mandrel of the pipe with a 12-inch or left of the outside diameter with the diameter wall thickness with a ratio of 70. Each circumferential weld of steel white pipe which is located at the trough during the bending with the cause of the permanent deformation of the pipe with the non-destructivity test of the coring. After the bending profit, the operator may be not install the plastic pipe with a bending radius of less than the medium bend radius specified in manufacture for the diameter of the pipe being installed. The operator may not install the plastic pipe with a bend radius less than the minimum bend radius specified by the manufacturer for the diameter of the pipe being installed. Wrinkle bends in steel pipe. A wrinkle bend may not be made on steel pipe to operate at a pressure of 105 psi gauge or more. Protection from hazards. When pipelines must be installed with the subject of the natural height of the touch with washout floods, unstable the landslide, with the other condition that may serve the movements for the abnormal load of the pipeline. Reasonable precautions should be taken to protect the pipeline, increase the wall thickness, construction, revaments, preventing over erosion, installing anchors when pipeline crosses the area of the normal underwater subject to flooding, lakes, bays, and swamps. Sufficient weight of the anchor shall be applied with the line to prevent flotation, because submarine river crossings may be subject to the washout with the natural height of the stream bed, change with the higher water velocity depending the opening of the channel, changing from the channel location stream by the design intention of the job to give it the protect of the pipeline such crossing. Crossing shall be located with a stable bank for the bed, location of the depth of the line, location of the bed of the banks. Both thickness of the pipe waiting line shall be selected based on the character of the river. When pipelines exposed with the half such a plan trestle bridge crossing, pipelines main shall be presumably protected by the distance of barricades and accidental damage vehicle or traffic or other causes. Installation of a pipe in a ditch. When installed in the ditch, each transmission line and main line must be installed so that the pipe is fit in the ditch so to minimize stress to protect the pipe coating from damage. When the ditch of the transmission line with the backfill, it must be backfilled in a manner provide support under the pipe and prevent the damage from the pipe coating from the equipment from backfilled material. Installation of plastic pipe. Plastic pipe may be installed below ground level unless otherwise permitted in subdivision 11 eminence. A pipe may be installed with a vault with other below grade enclosure with complete encased with gas type, metal type. Fittings are adequate protection from corrosion. C. Plastic pipe may be installed with minimum shear and the tensile strength. Plastic pipe must have the minimum wall thickness according to section 255-121 of this part. Plastic pipe that is not encased with may have electrical conductive wire or other approved means of locating pipe. The trace wire may be wrapped around the pipe with the contact with the pipe may minimize the prohibited tracing of the metallic elements by the pipe and locating purpose must be resistant corrosion damage. Even the coated copper wire with other means plastic pipe being encased must be inserted into the casing pipe with the manner with the protect with the plastic pipe with the being encased must be protect with the damaged entrance to the all existing points of the casing and the leading end of the plastic must be closed before insertion. Insertion in the case must be prepared within the extent of the necessary to remove the sharp edge of the projection and brace of the material that would cause damage to the plastic. Care should be exercised to avoid rough handling of the plastic pipe with the tubing that should be pushed and pulled over the sharp project with the droop and have other objects dropped upon it. Caution should be taken to prevent kinking and buckling any of the kinks and buckles which occur with the remove the cutting of the outer cylinder. Squeeze off plastics may be made with the control of the flow that according to the manufacturer recommendation proven the procedure without replacement of the pipe with the section. However, each squeeze off must be adequately marked with the pipe to preclude further squeeze of the location. Pipeline shall be installed with sufficient slack to provide possible contraction. Cooling may be necessary before the last connection is made within the extreme high temperature condition. Portion of the plastic pipe exposed to the tube with the removal of the section casing will expand with the disturbed earth. Each shall be sufficient strength to withstand the external loading and shearing forces of the protected with a suitable bridging piece. L. Uncased plastic pipe may be temporarily installed before above ground level. Under the following condition, operator must be able to demonstrate the cumulative above the ground exposure of the pipe does not exceed the manufacturer's recommendation maximum period exposure for the 2 years, whichever level the pipe is located with the depth where damage external forces unlikely otherwise were protected against such damage. The pipe is adequately resist exposure to the ultraviolet light and high and low temperatures. And plastic pipe may be installed on the bridge provided that it is installed with the protection of mechanical damage such insulation metallic casing protected ultraviolet radiation not allowed to exceed with the pipe temperature of the limited of the specified in 252-121 of this part. And N. Plastic mains may terminate above the ground level provided they comply with the following. Above ground level, the part of the plastic main is protected against deterioration, external damage. Plastic main is not used to support external loads. Installation rises with the regulator station must be design requirements of section 255-204 of this title. Casing 255 323. Casing. The casing must be designed to withstand superimposed load. If possible, the wire entering the casing, the ends must be sealed. The ends of the unvented casing are sealed with the sealing with it strong enough to retain the maximal operating pressure for the pipe. The case must be designed to hold the pressure at a less stress level than no more than 70% of the system yielded strength. Vents are installed, but the casing of the vents must be protected with weather to prevent weather entering the casing. Underground clearance. Each transmission line shall be installed with at least 12 inches of the clearance with any other underground structure not associated with the transmission line. If the clearance cannot be attained with a minimum clearance of the 2 inches, must be attained with the provide with the transmission line to protect from the damage that might result with the proximity of the other structure. Each distribution main shall be installed with at least 6 inches of the clearance underground structure to allow the proper maintenance to protect against the damage that might result with the proximity of the other structure. If this clearance cannot be attained, the main may be installed with a minimum clearance of 2 inches provided the main is suitable to protect with the damage that might result with the proximity of the other structure. In addition, meeting requirements subdivision A and B of the section, each plastic pipeline must be installed sufficient clearance or must be installed with any source of heat, such as prevent the heating from the impaired serviceability of the pipe. Cover. Except the providing subdivision D and E and F of the section, each buried transmission line distribution main operating prop 125 psi more in class 3 and 4 location must be installed minimum cover. Class 1 location nominal soil inches 30 consolidated rock 18 class 2 and 3 4 ditches drainage ditches in public 30 inches nominal soil inches 24 consolidated rock. Roads and railroad crossing 36 inches 24 consolidated rock. Except for providing subdivision C, D, and E and F of the section, each buried distribution main and others specified in the subdivision A of the section must be installed with at least 24 inches of the cover. Where a new distribution main is being inserted with the existing pipeline, the minimum depth of cover is maybe 18 inches, provided openings are properly bridged to provide protection for the shearing action from external damage. When underground structure prevents the installation on the transmission line main line, minimum cover of the transmission line may be installed, with less cover to provide with additional protection withstand anticipated external loads. All pipe which is installed in areas actively cultivated with commercial farm purpose with at least 2 out of the last 5 years identified by the farmland operator shall be installed with a minimum cover 40 inches unless the farmland operator agrees to require the different depth. All pipe which installed with an applicable reverse stream harbor must have the minimum cover of 48 inches or soil or 24 inches and consolidated rock between the top of the pipe and the underwater natural bottom to determine they recognize the general accepted practice, but however less than minimum coverage is permitted in accordance with subdivision D of this section. Alright, installation plastic pipelines by trenchless excavation. Installation plastic pipeline by trenchless excavation. Plastic pipelines installed with the trenchless excavation must comply with the following. Each operator must practice steps that provide sufficient clearance for the installation maintenance activities underground utilities and or structure for the time of installation. For each pipeline section, plastic pipe and then components that are pulled through the ground must be used the weak link defined in section 255.3 of this part to ensure pipeline will not be damaged by any excessive force during pulling process. Alright, and that was your general construction requirement of the transmission lines and mains.